Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trader Minute. It's great to have you aboard. I'm Carl, and thanks for tuning in this morning. Kind of quiet out there today in the market. The futures here just flat. Fair values around two, bullish two. So might see a little slight uptick. It's going to be a flat open for the most part, and overall flat opens on markets where they're uptrending. Have been pretty bullish recently. You notice last few days. Uh, Yesterday sold off fairly little bit in the close, but these small openings like this, the lighter openings, tend to end up bullish during the course of the day. We'll see where the market goes today. As far as any reports out there, you had building permits come in this morning. You can see where those numbers hit right here. It sold right back off. After that, building permits, they went to a 5-year high. They jumped 6.2%. And that's adding a little bit to the home builders. Some of the home builders out there in the world are up slightly this morning. The Lennars and the Rylands and the D.R. Hortons and so forth like that. So you might see a little bit of uptick in that area of the market. Okay, we got consumer confidence set to come out here in about half an hour or so. 10 o'clock Eastern time is when consumer confidence is due. We'll see if that how the market reacts to that, if it's any type of a big beat or a loss, anything like that. Okay, some interesting news out there. Men's Warehouse is proposed a $1.2 billion takeover offered to Joseph A. Bank. All right, so we go out here and we look at Men's Warehouse. Now, this isn't anything unexpected. This has been going on now for a while. See, the first part of October here, they tried the same thing. Shot from 35 up here to the $44 area. And then that bid was eventually taken off the table, but you notice the stock never really pulled back much. It just stayed up there. This morning it's set to gap up some. You look at Joseph A. Bank. You see a very similar chart. Now the takeover bid is at $55. And pre-market right now, if we take a look at these, Joseph A. Bank pre-market set to open up at 56.40, right around there, 56.40 something. It closed last night at 50.60 there. You look at Men's Warehouse as well. Pretty flat right here. It's up a little bit earlier this morning, but wait a minute here. I'm looking at the wrong chart. Set to open about $3 higher. So here's Men's Warehouse. You can see where they were last night on the close versus where they are right now. They're gapped up about $3 on it. Joseph A. Bank this morning down here around 51 last night, and they're trading up at 56. So some pretty big news out of there some of the clothiers out there. Now Tiffany reported earnings this morning. They beat by 15 cents. The revenues came in at 911 million versus 889. So that's a pretty big beat. But one thing that the kind of the trend this year is the high end retailers tend to be doing well, and the lower end retailers are the ones struggling right now. All right, so I know when we were going through the recession, the last few years, some of the stocks that were red hot 2-3 years ago were the dollar stores. Remember the dollar stores, Dollar General, Family Dollar, and some of those had some really good runs during that time frame. But right now, the higher end stores are the ones that seems to be doing all right so far this season. Okay, Huntsman upgraded to a buy by Goldman Sachs. I've noticed Goldman Sachs, they've been pretty busy along the upgrade and downgrade area of the market. They upgraded Goldman Sachs to a buy. I'm sorry, they upgraded Huntsman, Hun, to a buy. So you'll see some upward pressure on Huntsman today. And they also downgraded FCX, Freeport McMoran. And so a little down pressure there. All right, as far as our positions this morning, MRO, not really any indication right now. There's a pretty decent spread right here, and then John Deere Same thing. Not much indication which way it's going to go. We got really wide spreads here between the bids and the ask prices, and so there's not much indication right now as what they're going to do. Now we're we've been talking about Jeff and I have been talking about Deere and MRO this week on the lighter volume weeks. Where these stocks can go one way or the other, and based on no drastic moves, we're not going to take any much action here today unless we see some drastic moves that start to turn against us. All right, but right now, 20 cents here or there is nothing for us to react to. All right, but we're still expecting upside here on MRO and down and upside there on Deere as it's broken out of that channel right there. And so not really any indications pre-market as to which way these things are going to go initially. All right, and again, futures just flat. I mean, the market's just going to open flat, and we'll see where that takes us as we go throughout the day here. This week, right, we got a shortened week. Thursday, Thanksgiving, and then just a half a day on Friday. Now, when it comes to Friday, I won't be here, but Jeff will be here, and he's planning on doing some day trading with you. If you got some day traders out there that want to tune in, Jeff goes out and looks for some day trades to make. It's pretty active for day trades that Friday after Thanksgiving. We will not be in on Thursday. Anytime the markets close, we'll be closed as well. But if you have any support questions, something like that, we'll check in and see how everything's going along that front. Deb, when I was day trading, I used to do that. Deb's asking would I ever buy into Men's Warehouse or Joseph A. Bank on a short jump up for the day. When I was day trading, I would look for those opportunities. Right when I'm not day trading, I don't. But for day traders out there, I would look for some positive news like that. Look for a little bit of a pullback, and then try to run the next leg higher based on the good news or whichever way it presented itself on the chart. Sometimes they would drop. It's pretty quick day trading action. I don't do it now anymore, but when I was day trading, yeah, those were some of the stocks I'd go after because they're going to be moving quite a bit, be quite volatile, and you can catch some pretty decent movements. You just got to be fast. You got to be on the draw. Okay, but top three yesterday, right? We had. Let's run through those. I don't have them here. Hang on just a second. Somebody asked me a question. Yeah, thanks, Deb. All right, just got tapped on the shoulder. All right, so we had Rite Aid, and let's hear the bell there ringing this morning. Let's just see where the top three is going to open up. They're still opening up here at stock charts. And Google is up a couple dollars, about 1/4%. Right out of the gate, we'll take it. With Rite Aid, totally rad. It's still not trading here on stock charts yet. And then the last one was Facebook, and it's not up and running yet either. They should be coming in here any minute. There we go. Oh, it gapped up about 4 cents, and then Facebook here. Not coming in yet. So let's run through the positions. We've got MRO Marathon here, up about a dime. Yeah, we'd like to see this push it back up through the 7. Now, it was asked last night, closed just under 37 right there. Okay, and you might have heard me say this many times. Areas of support and resistance, it's not an exact number, it's more a range. If it would have closed down there towards the lows, we would have exited where it closed pretty much right there at 37. We held in there. Yeah, we'd like to see this run back up above the 7 today, and that's what we're expecting to see on this. All right, and then with Deere, up about 11 cents. A slight gap up. They've both gapped up just slightly. No indication here as far as nothing, anything to react to at all. We'll take it, but nothing here to react to on those little tiny moves like that. Some of the stocks we talked about this morning. Here's Huntsman. Got an upgrade from Goldman Sachs to a buy, and they're up about 50 cents right now, jumping above the $23 mark. And then as far as FCX, it's got a downgrade to a neutral from Goldman Sachs, and that was a pretty stiff move, down almost 2%, 1.75% right now, jumping into the lower Bollinger Band like that. All right, another stock that got a downgrade, and this came from Capital One, was RIG, and they've been in this steep decline, and yeah, beat them while they're down. Got there at 55, it drops $4 on them, and then you downgrade them. And yeah, a lot of us could do these nice downgrades like this, couldn't we? All right, let's take a look at Tiffany. They're the ones with the big earnings beat today. This big gap like that, from 81, about a $6 gap. So we don't touch these things. Day traders, yeah, you can go out and trade these. They're pretty fast and furious, but we'll let these things settle down a little bit unless we get some pretty strong candlestick action that might occur within the next few days. But what we'll normally do on these type of gaps, either a gap down, a large gap down, or a large gap up, what we'll do with them is let them fall back. So if it gaps up, we'll let it pull back a little bit, find some new area of support up above it, and then maybe look to play it higher as it's locked in some support. Or if it gaps down, we'll typically just same thing, gaps down, let it settle down for a little bit, and then either play it lower or try to play the run back higher, whichever way these suggest. But the initial gaps, we'll avoid it at least for a few days, maybe a week, and then keep checking in on it to see if there's any type of reaction to it down the road. But the initial gaps, pretty aggressive trading, but they can be done. But it's pretty aggressive out there for those. All right, so let's see if Facebook is up yet. Down about 45 cents. That's a nice start to the day for Facebook. What you'd want to see here is just this thing to stay in that lower band like that. If it pushes to 44, great sign. It's coming down to 42, and probably headed a lot lower. Just a weak looking chart there. Another one, speaking of shorts, Tesla. Now this gapping action right here is pretty interesting. It's too early in the day to make a decision to enter right here. That not too often we're going to enter a trade in the morning. A break lower here off of 120. Right, so if I get my little magic candle drawing tool out here, if you see this look like this today, and you see some, this volumes have been pretty elevated here on this last little bit of sell. You check out the volumes there versus what they were doing through this range. Likely coming down lower. That would be a great sign that this is coming down lower. A little bit of a descending triangle pattern going on there as well. So you can see the trend that this has been in, right? A little bit of a triangle pattern there, or a bear flag, whatever you want to call it. A break below that area right there would just be, if you're in a put on it, would just be golden, or even an opportunity to get in on a put later in the day. That happens on Facebook today. It's just been some nice bearish consolidation, how it keeps bouncing off the 7. Just a slow work back over to yesterday. It failed to get up through it and then went negative by the end of the day. And today it's starting to push lower. Yeah, this has got a long ways to go. All right, well, I just want to run through the financials. I always like to go through the financials, see what they're doing. Wow, that Bank of America, Goldman's, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan. I see a pretty good numbers there on all the financials. Some nice steep trends still going up. You know, the old saying out there, as it goes the financials, so goes the markets. So with the financials up like this, that's a very positive thing for the market. And here's the small caps, the Russell 2000, the IWM. You know, it's up near a level of resistance, but still, I mean, uptrend still intact. It still looks to go. These are all some of the little uh, canaries in the coal mines, as you could call it, out there for the market. And right now, they all look pretty bullish. So that's good for the market. That's bullish for the market. Market's up about 2 right now. MRO up about 15. John Deere down 5 cents. Just nothing there technically. Just 10 minutes into the open. As far as Apple, up $3 today. And nice move here. If it jumps into that upper Bollinger Band, you'd have a trend right or bull signal, and likely to push higher. That's a pretty good start for the day, up $3. Swing trader. What we'll do, I'll make note of that, and we can give a little training on that, and we can record it either today or tomorrow. But I'll take note of that, and we'll do a little training on the Bollinger Bands. It's a great little indicator. Just take a note. Yeah, you hear us talk about the bands and not the rock bands, but it's just the Bollinger Bands and how we use those. It's a pretty fascinating tool. All right, let's look Johnson and Johnson. No, it's down 9 cents. Johnson and Johnson has these mornings where it'll run down a little bit, but by the end of the day, turn positive. It did the same thing yesterday. Uh, Almost most of these days here, with the exception of, well, yesterday it gaps down and runs higher, right? It seems to be down in the morning and then rallies in the afternoon, and that's very bullish. Whenever you see a stock doing that, gapping down, you get a little bit of profit taking, but what happens? It's immediately bought right back up. Same thing this morning, gap just down slightly, and so far that has been the case here. So with Best Buy, right? So it's gapped down, it's run back up to the 7, so we're at a turning point. This is going to be the turning point right here, and it might not happen today, but 40. So it gapped, ran down below 40. Now we're coming back up to retest it. The 7's right there as well. It's going to go one or two ways, right? Stock's going to only go one or two ways. If you see this type of action, where you see this back, pushing back down off of 40, strong bearish action. What that means is it just locked in 40 as a new level of resistance. Okay, and likely to go lower. If you see this type of action here, oops, and this I can't make that black, but if you see that kind of action, maybe not that strong, but a nice push up off of 40, that's a bullish sign. It might retest 40, but still that would be a bullish sign. So pushing up off of 40 and also pushing up through the 7-day moving average, that would be very positive for it. Right now it's just on the fence. It's right there. It's come down. It's right back up to the 7. Is it going to break and run higher? Is it going to push and run back lower? A push lower would be bearish. A push higher would be pretty positive for Best Buy. Honeywell, nothing here to react to right now. It's still overall still bullish. Still got a nice bullish uptrend going. Yeah, it's what's up 15 cents. No bearish, a real strong bullishness. The trend's bullish. Just want this to stay above the 7 and push up through 89 and just let it go. Right now, there's no need to fear anything bearish. The odds still favor the bulls. Yeah, swing trader. That's a good question. And yeah, yesterday most energy stocks were down a little bit based on that Iran oil deal, and and they were talking about. I listened to CNBC a little bit in the morning, just overall to get a feel for what's going on out there in the marketplace, and they were talking about that a little bit, and they were saying, who really trusts Iran? I was like, good point. So, but that oil took a big shot yesterday. It dropped quite dramatically, and yesterday, I mean, today it's just fairly flat. It hasn't done much. The price of oil today. But yeah, that's energy stocks for the most part were down a little bit yesterday. Thanks, Swing Trader. A little bit later on the day, Darren, I will do that for you. Darren's asking if we can go over the options calculator at CBOE. Let me take note of that. Morning trains, I like to keep them just focused on the market and what's going on. Okay, but let me put that down. All right. Thanks, Darren. SGMS. All right. Now this had the. Let me zoom in on here a little bit. All right. This had a trend writer bear signal. I believe it was one of my top threes right here from about last Tuesday. It came down. Then you got this candlestick action coming back up to it. So this is going to be one of those days you got to watch it close. If it closes above the 7, I would get out if I was bullish on it. If you see the action like we saw yesterday, where it did the same thing like it's doing right now, where it went up here to about 18 and then ended up coming back down below the 7. If you see that today and this starts to roll over and look more like that, you got some bearish action. The bears are still alive and well. But early on right now, don't make a decision right now based on it's up slightly, because it did the same thing yesterday. If it watch it into the close, if it pushes and rolls negative and closes back down below the 7, or again even has that little candlestick right there that like I drew in there to where it's pushing back down below the 7, very bearish, and I'd stay in. But just watch it right now. It's too early to make a call on that. Yeah, I agree with you. Oilio. He says, besides Iran deal would take years to monitor and it's totally political. Yeah, I would agree. With DE down just 24 cents, it's done this other days too. We're going to monitor this. The stops on the 7-day average here. It's still above the 7, and we're still going to ride DE. No, right now DE is down about 24 cents, Sean. Yeah, with Tesla, watch this. If this pushes down like this and holds it into the close today, this thing's going a lot lower, down to the 110, eventually into the double digits for Tesla is where I would put this. But that's pretty bearish price action right there. Okay. All right, so MRO up about 22 cents, DE, John Deere down about 34 cents. We'll keep an eye on these trades. Right now we're holding them. It's still early in the morning to see, to take any type of action on these right now. No concerns here. So I'll be on chat with you all day long today. If you have any questions, comments, just put them on in. Jeff will be back on video here shortly. Celebrity was bad mouthing Tesla, huh? they they just can't get a break. Got nice cars, but right now the stock's under a lot of pressure on Tesla. All right, Walmart. Just early morning, it's down 6 cents. Nothing to react to right here. Had some nice news yesterday. Well, they took it as nice news when there's a new CEO taking the reins, and the stock jumps on it. You look at this technically, a little bit of a gapping action right here. It could show maybe a little bit of news, but overall, just a real strong uptrend. It's a good time of year for Walmart as well. So I just hang in here. I wouldn't worry about anything right now. It's way too early. F5 Networks. All right, so this one, you can see how it dropped below the 7 over here, then it came back up to the 7 and then pushed back down off of it yesterday. It's very bearish price action here. It's up slightly right now. If I was bearish on this, I wouldn't worry about it. What you'd want to see is just to run lower as the day goes on, but I'd stay in it until it closes back above the 7. And this early into the day, really not much indication. It's up 52 cents, but technically, it's just minor at this point. There's nothing there to react to. Okay, everybody, thanks again. I'll be on chat with you all day. Jeff will be on shortly, a little bit of a training, and we'll talk to you a little bit later. All right.